everyone, it's Kelly from Kellie's Bead Boutique. So today I'm going to show you how to make something just a little bit different. I'm going to show you how to make your own embellished leather link. I love this project. I think you're going to really enjoy it, so come and join me and I'll show you how to make your own. So today I'm going to show you how to make a kind of a unique leather link. So I have about 8 or 10 inches of 2mm leather, and I'm going to use some 24 gauge craft wire. And I've got a couple different colors of 3mm fire polish. You can use anything, I just happen to like the fire polish. I would keep it on the smaller side though. And I have a couple feet of 1mm cotton cording. You could use Irish wax linen if you wanted. And I'm going to use a little bit of GS Hypo cement, some cutters, and a pair of chain nose pliers. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to form my little link with my leather. So what I do is I take one side and bring it down on the side of the leather, and then I flip the other one up and do the same thing on the opposite side. Now I want to try to have these pretty equal in size, so I need to make this one a bit smaller and this one a bit larger. And I want to leave a good, it's hard for you to see because I have to keep my fingers on top, but you can sort of see the size in the middle. I need to leave at least a ½ an inch or so on the inside there. And don't worry, we can always trim this up, but I like to give myself enough of an overlap. So that's what we're going to sort of start with. Now I'm going to take my piece of cotton cording and I'm going to make a small loop and pull it like that, and I'm going to place this part of the loop underneath my thumb on my non-dominant hand, so I'm sort of covering that up there. Now I'm going to take my longer piece and I'm going to start wrapping. So I'm going to start down here and I'm going to wrap towards my non-dominant hand. So you can see I'm making my loops nice and neat. It doesn't really matter because it's all going to get covered, but I tend to like to do these kind of things a little more neat and organized. And that's probably enough there. So now I'm going to pull that up through there, and I'm trying to do it so that you can see it. So now you can see when I start to pull this, it'll take that little knot there and it'll pull it right down inside. And now you can see the knot is sort of sitting in there. Now what I do is I take it and I pull tight on both sides. So before I do that, I'm going to just even this up a little bit more because my ends were a little off. One's a little bit larger than the other. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to make that nice and tight. So I just take both ends of that and pull it really tight. And now that's locked in there pretty good. Not going to go anywhere. So this is called a silk wrap, and I use it often for getting things kind of, you know, tightened up like that. It's a really great way to finish things off. So now I'm going to trim this leather. So again, this is all going to be covered, but we do want to trim it up. So just give that little snips and then come on this side and get that done. Okay, so there's our little link that we have so far. So what I will do is take some GS Hypo and I will come in here. I'm not going to put very much on because I'm doing this on camera, but I would go all around in here and give it a pretty good saturation of glue. And same with on this side. I'm just going to put a little bit just so sort of for demonstration purposes. So put a good amount on and then put it aside and let it dry for a little bit. All right, so I've let that glue dry a little bit, and I've cut myself about 4 feet, maybe a little bit more than 4 feet of my 24 gauge wire. It's better to have a little bit more than a little bit less. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start down here. Now I always take a little bit and tuck it under my thumb because I find it easier to hold on to. Because it is cheap craft wire, I don't really care if I'm wasting any of it. So I'm just going to wrap that around a couple times just to lock it in there. You could then wrap that little short end around if you want, but I'm just going to trim it off. And then I'm going to come in with my pliers and just tuck that down. Again, you're probably going to cover it with beads and wire, so just make sure that it's not poking out anywhere. Okay, so now the first thing I'm going to do to create the next part of this is pop a couple beads on. Now I find it easier to, let me just move some of these things out of the way. I find it easier to only put a couple beads on. If you put a whole string of beads on, you'll find that the wire gets kind of tangled up. So I put a few on and I pull them down. And I sort of push it down with my thumb and then I wrap it around. So what we're trying to do is create sort of an organic looking embellished link here. So we'll be filling in, it'll take a little while to do it, but I want to actually have a fair amount of wire. So I'm going to go back and forth a little bit with my wire, and then I'm going to maybe go on the back here and grab a couple beads. And I'm not going to, you know, really sort of do a pattern or anything like that, but you can, you know, you can do a pattern if you want. You can do whatever you like. It's your piece. And sorry, it's hard to have this all on camera because I've got a lot of wire here. So now I'm going to come to the back and I'm going to wrap it around. I'll wrap over there, wrap around here, and I want to build this up. So I'm going to keep adding beads and wrapping wire around. So I'll do a couple more so you can see. And maybe on this one I'll just put 2. So then when I get here, I'll just kind of push it in and wrap it around. And then I'm going to turn it half turn and add 1 bead. Let it drop down. There's a lot of wire here. It's getting tangled in my mic and everything. It's so much easier to do when you don't have a camera and all this stuff to deal with. So you can see I'm just adding beads, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bunch of beads and go to the very end there, and then I'll show you what I do. So I'm just going to keep adding beads. Okay, so now you can see that I've made my way to the other end here, and there's some bald spots, so on some side you'll see more than others. So this is where I start filling in. So I want to actually have more wire than what you would think. So I do kind of wrap around a few times. So now I want to put a little bit of a bead there. So I'm going to just pick up 1 or 2. And you can just pick up 1, you can pick up 3, whatever you like. I just think too many doesn't always sit nicely. So I just sort of place them where I want them. So I kind of want them there. So I'll place it there, and then I'll wrap around a couple times. And now there's a real big gap there. So I think I'm going to do 3 beads. So I'll just pick up a couple different beads here. So when you have gaps, you can fill in with beads and wire at the same time. You can cut an extra piece of wire after and go around the whole thing with wire if you want that look with just a lot of wire showing. So you know, you can do anything with this. So I'm just sort of filling in as I go around, making sure to wrap around a couple times. And now there's some bald spots there, so I'm going to pick up some more beads here, and I'm just sort of filling in the bald spots and going to work my way to the other side. And I think I just hit the camera with my hand, so hopefully it didn't bounce around too much. Okay, so I'm just going to continue filling this in, and I'll go to that other end and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've made it to this end, and so now I'm going to work my way back again, and that's why I cut so much wire, because I know that I'm going to want to start filling in. So you know, it doesn't matter if you have little gaps with just wire on there, but I do like a lot of beads on my piece. So I'm going to just sort of really start looking now where I need to add. So I sort of missed this whole little area here. So I'm going to just pick up singular beads and just kind of fill in that area there. And they don't have to run in a line. They can be a little off angle. Like this one, I want it to be a little off angle. So I'll sort of secure it in there with my wire and then pick up another bead. And then wrap it around a bit more. And I'm going to just turn it around because it's making it a little bit harder to hold in my hand by going that direction. I think I'll put another brown iris one there. And this is great if you've got little leftovers of beads. You can, use up some of your stash. I think I'm going to put a little collection in this area here. And again, this is one of these great free-form projects where there's no right and no wrong. It's just however you like it. Okay, sorry, I keep going off of camera because it's hard to do this in my hand. I keep forgetting. Oh yeah, you are on camera here. Okay. Fill in this little gap right up here. There we go. Okay, so I think if I sort of analyze it and have a little look, this is pretty much how I would like it to look. So I'll kind of wiggle my way back here with, you can always add a bead along the way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim off right here. And then I'm going to take this wire and try to tuck it underneath another piece of wire there. Sort of push it in. There we go. Now I'm going to sort of manipulate the wires a bit with my fingers and sort of twist it and get it in the direction that I want it to go. And there we go. And there we go, we have a really cute little beaded link, and I love to use these in necklaces. So I form my necklace up at the top with whatever I'm doing, and then I'll hang something off of the bottom. It just is a really cute little piece. I've also taken like two of them, made two sort of identical ones, and put them on either side of a necklace as a nice little link. So have some fun with it. See what you can create and just play around a little bit. It only uses a little bit of wire, little tiny bit of leather, and some of your beads. So I'll make sure to put a link below to all of the parts that I used today. We have a huge selection of 3mm fire polish if you're wanting to try something like this. And we have quite a few different colors of leather and wire. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give me a like. Please subscribe to my channel. I put out a new video every Monday at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to leave me a comment and tell me what color combination you think you're going to use today. All right, thanks again for watching.